Hi, this is Peter Salas with another one of our handy dandy little screencasts. This time I'm going to quickly show you how to set up and get going with your BlogBridge feed library. To have you see the direction we're going to end up at, here's a view at the BlogBridge feed library that we use at the BlogBridge website itself to show off our expert topic guides. So if you take a look here, you see that basically all we've got is a series of folders and subfolders, and within each one, at the lowest level, there are a series of blogs and feeds. That's all there is to it. So setting up a feed library of your own basically means setting up something like this. So let's go to the beginning. When you request a feed library trial from us, here's what you get. You get a URL, you type that in, and you come to a feed library that has some test content in it to illustrate that it's actually working, and a username and a password that allows you to log in and start setting it up as the administrator. We expect you to delete everything that's in here and put whatever you want inside, so go crazy. Um, as with any feed library, there's access to it when you're not logged in, so your end users can go in and play once you give them the URL. But what you're going to be doing, of course, requires a login because you're going to be setting it up. So let's take a look at that. You click on the login button here. You type in your username and password. And magically now you're logged in. Your username and password generally is admin, password admin. And you see here something that looks a little bit but not exactly like what we saw before. Why is it? Well, first of all, using the themes, this is coming up with a different theme. So let's go and set the theme to the one that looks like the one we were looking at before. We're going to change the theme to the BlogBridge theme, and we're going to also display feeds in a different way, which looks more like what we were looking at before. So I'm going to click OK here, and now I'm looking at a folder called Home. It contains 1, 2, 3, 4 items in it. The first item is a folder, second is a folder, third is a folder, the fourth is just a link to a blog. I'm going to want to change the properties of this top level folder called Home. So I'm going to edit folder. I'm going to call it Home Page. I'm going to put a little welcome message in. I'm going to change the default display to be a list instead of a tree. And I'm going to confirm. And magically now we see something that it's the same content displayed differently. We have the item in the top level plus the 3 folders: classics, music, and video and podcasts. Let's see what it's like to add some content to this feed library. I'm going to go inside the classics, for example, and I'm going to add an item. Now, an item generally is a blog, but there's many different things you can add as well. But let's start with the blog. Now, you know that a blog has a URL, but there's other information about a blog also that okay. Well, for some reason my A key is not working, which is why this is not displaying the way we want it to. I was trying to type in geeknewscentral.com. Oh, I know one, scripting.com. Basically, what happened there, I typed the URL in for scripting.com, and automatically BlogBridge went back and looked up and discovered that this was actually the blog called Scripting News. There's the description. Here's the URL for the site. Here's the URL for the feed. And basically that's all you need to do. You say OK, and there it is. We have both the thumbnail for Scripting News as well as the items, so you can actually even use the feed library as a lightweight, very lightweight aggregator. But that's not the primary purpose, of course. If we go back one level to the classics folder where we just added Scripting News, there it is. And I can do the same thing. I can add another folder, of course. So Good stuff. Um, and confirm it. And there you go. We have another folder. So that's basically the basics of what you need. Reviewing these links here, at any level in the hierarchy, you can add a folder, which creates another level. You can add an item. You can edit the folder, or you can post an announcement about this. Let me post an announcement just for the hell of it. Click post an announcement here. I'm going to say the home page was updated. Isn't that swell? Save and publish. And basically what's going on is now there is an announcement that's going to be displayed in the announcements area. Now why aren't we seeing it? Well, because we have to turn on the preferences and say that we do want to see the latest news. And now we go back to the home page, and there it is, the latest news, and there's the home page announcement I just put in. You notice that the top 10 gets automatically populated based on which ones are being clicked on. Let me quickly look at the other options here. Manage users. Now the only reason you're going to have to create a new user is because you want to delegate some of the administration of this feed library to somebody else, which is very typical. You might have you owning the whole library and have a department head or a topic expert owning a different part, and you can basically give them folders and give them ownership of that folder. So if I want to create, well, I won't bother doing it, but let's say, well, let's just do it. I'm going to create Joe Schmo, Joe at AOL.com. I'm going to call him Joe, give him a password of Joe, a password of Joe. Administrator, that's you. Anybody who make an administrator can do everything. An author is somebody who is allowed to modify one item inside of the library. A librarian is somebody who's allowed to organize a whole folder within the library. So that's what we want. We want a librarian. I'm a librarian. Notice my A's are not coming out. I'm going to add that person. Now we have another user, Joe Schmo. So if we go back to the home page now, and we go, for example, to the classics folder, I can edit that folder, and I can make Joe Schmo the owner. So now Joe Schmo is the only one that's allowed to actually modify what goes into this folder. One other interesting thing you can do is, let's say that within video and podcasts, you notice that I can take a certain item, let's say this particular blog. I can click this icon, which is a shortcut for editing this, so I don't have to go into the folder. Click the edit, and I can say that I would like to have this particular item also listed in a folder called video and podcasts. So now this was already there, also listed in music. Now you see that this one blog is listed in 3 different places, which you need because the world is not a simple hierarchy, and you can't necessarily put everything in individual buckets and only in one place. So we let you put it in many different places. Okay, this screencast is basically reached its end. I'll sign off now and look forward to hearing your questions as we will create more feed libraries to go into more depth of different features of interest. Thank you, and